Let's bring in Matt Schlapp. He'll have something to say about that. Chairman of the American Conservative Union and former White House political director. Matt, good morning to you. Looking forward to getting your thoughts this morning as this showdown continues. Things heating up on Capitol Hill. And where does it go? What happens I'll ask a question that was on the floor a second ago. Is the State of the Union address really in jeopardy? Is the president potentially not going to deliver that address?
I suppose it is. Think about the ultimate irony here, Sandra. What Nancy Pelosi is saying is she will not take the financial steps to prevent illegal immigrants from flooding over our southern border, but she will potentially take the step of having a barrier to Donald Trump walking into the well of the House of Representatives. I don't think she's thought through how silly her position is. We have law breaking at our southern border, which I think most people, even despite their politics, realize that's not a good way to run your immigration system. And I'm just old enough, Sandra, to have been a congressional staffer when Bill Clinton was president. And there were a lot of rabble-rousing Republicans who said they would boycott President Clinton's State of the Union address. And I think the cooler head said it's disrespectful to the office of the presidency. And that's what Nancy Pelosi is stepping into. And I think the politics of it will be very nasty for her if she does it. Well,
and her reasons for suggesting that he shouldn't do this is security concerns. And Homeland Security saying, no, we're taken care of. Secret Service is good. We can handle the situation based on the shutdown and where we are.
It's absurd. It's absurd. The president is being protected by the Secret Service every day. So is the vice president, their families. Nancy Pelosi and the other leaders in the Senate and the House are being protected by Capitol Hill police force every day. These people are at work, hard at work. What is she really saying? That somehow the president is vulnerable and the Secret Service isn't doing their job? That's quite another claim at another group of federal law enforcement officials.
Well, she hasn't uninvited him yet, so we'll see what happens with all of that. But as former White House political director, Matt, how would you like to see the president respond to this?
Well, I think he needs to talk to the American people, as he did from the Oval Office continually on this issue. I know that people look at polls, and there are Republicans who get worried about a showdown on federal spending. But the American people, the more they understand that this is over a simple concept of securing our southern border so that we have a system that works and so that people who come here legally have the first chance at that next job for their family, I think he'll win this battle. So there are locations around the White House he could use. He could go to the old Senate chamber. He could go to the new Senate chamber. The one thing he needs to do is to give this address come hell or high water. And just like fighting on the finances, if we have to fight over the very ability to use his First Amendment rights to give the State of the Union address, which is a constitutional part of this government, when really all the branches of the government come together at one time and all the major officials come at one time, and we tell the world, we're projecting to the whole world that as a government, here's what our agenda will be. For her to prevent that from happening, I think, once again, the ramifications are very negative for the Democratic Party politically if they do this.
Congressman Steve Scalise has been very firm on this issue. He was on with Laura Ingraham last night. He was talking all things shutdown and State of the Union. Here he is.
I think they're seeing that it's starting to come unhinged on their side. When you see more Democrat members of Congress getting really nervous about this because they're seeing people not get paychecks, and they're seeing that their party is standing up for open borders. They don't want to secure the border. That's an untenable position to hold.
And as we know, Nancy Pelosi has called a wall an immorality. And a really interesting response came in from House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer on this issue, Matt. He was on with Brett, and he is seemingly at odds with Nancy Pelosi in a couple ways. Watch this.
I don't think this is an issue of morality. It's an issue of does it work?
So they work some places.
Obviously, they work some places. There are all sorts of alternatives that we could pursue, I think, to come up with a consensus solution to achieve the objective I think we all want to achieve, and that is a secure and safe border for our country and for our citizens.
Not an immorality, and he suggests that border walls, obviously, his word, work.
You know, Sandra, the dirty little secret is that there are a lot of divisions amongst Democrats. Steny Hoyer does not like Nancy Pelosi, and that came out in this interview. And the facts also came out. We have something like 690 miles of border protection on our southern border. Half the border already has walls, fences, and barriers. All the president is saying, let's add some 200 miles to that. It's actually a pretty modest proposal. And even when Nancy Pelosi said that I can't handle, for some crazy reason, the idea of cement, which is a part of all of buildings everywhere on the globe, he said, okay, we won't do cement. We'll do American steel. The border security likes that better because they can look through the barrier to see what could be coming on the other side. So the president has moved substantially to make this a very reasonable, common sense proposal. And it's not just about the barrier. It's about upholding the tough job that these border security agents do and making sure that we have a humanitarian way to take care of all the people who are coming, 2,000 people a day. So once again, when you look at the underlying issue, what the president is suggesting is actually just common sense. The reason why we haven't solved this problem in all these decades is because a lot of politicians don't want to solve it because they like the illegal immigration. They like the fact that they get to work for a lower wage, and the Democrats want them to vote.
The showdown continues. Matt Schlapp, thanks for being on this morning.